What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2, the perfectly pocket sized podcast for fans of this amazing hybrid console that has stolen our hearts and minds, the Switch 2. I am Antonio, aka Hypecaster, and I am joined by my co hosts, my best buds, Clay, the big man Howard, and David, Double D Jones. I am very, very excited, gentlemen, because guess what? We got a direct! They announced it, and then it was just like here it was like, oh, guess what, a partner showcase. And I got super excited, but again, short lead time, we didn't have a lot of time to get hyped. Wanted to get right into it because there is a lot to talk about. No get to know you question today. I want to know what your letter grade for this partner showcase was, and if you could explain just kind of like why, so pros and cons, so we can like start there.
Okay.
I can go first with a concept. I'll give my letter grade last. To me, the hype was low, but the quality of games was high. How is that possible? It's possible because the Switch is like the the cousin console. Like, it could be your main. It totally could, but I still consider myself, like, from moving in the Xbox ecosystem to like PC, like I'm still that's really the primary until the like Switch 2 library like really grows. So in my opinion, it's a mixed reaction from me. If I had to give it a letter grade right now, I'd probably, my heart says C. It says a solid C. And I feel like that might be a little bit low, but that's really my pro. My pro is lots of good games, period. Like, if you were to tell me, like, if this is the first time that we're seeing a lot of these games, that hype level of, wow, this is a 10, this is a 10, this is a, but then on the con side, I've played a lot of these before. I'm going to give it a C. Clay, what is your letter grade and why? What was your
Yeah.
pro and con?
So for me, I'd give it a C plus.
Ooh,
Definitely not anywhere in the B's and A's. For me personally, I think the direct started out really strong and ended pretty strong. But there was a lot of stuff in the middle there where it was just it was a little rough. I'll be honest, I came home from work and watched it because I had a busy morning with work stuff. I like fell asleep a couple times in the middle of it, if I'm being completely honest. Um, I am one of those people, for better or for worse, who's not a huge like JRPG fan or just like overly Japanese stuff, at least like anime stuff, I guess, if you will. But the irony is my standout game for today, which I don't know, are we allowed to talk specifically about games
yeah,
right
go
now?
ahead,
Is
please.
is the very first game they showed,
Yeah,
Orbitals.
uh-huh.
That game looks fantastic, and it's super anime, it's super Japanese looking, but it's like old, like 80s or 90s anime, and
Mhm.
it's I don't really care. I mean, it's cool that it's a co-op, like, two-player game, like, I'm down for that, but that's not even what won me over because I feel like we get enough of those now where it's like, it's not that uncommon. Like, we get a lot of those, and so but I like that. Like, that's a plus. And so just the art style alone, and then the gameplay looks really fun. And so if it wasn't for that, obviously the last announcement of the day was a good one. Bethesda partnership and them bringing a bunch of their games. We kind of already knew that these were coming more or less. I don't know if they had been officially, said, but there were rumors and things. But my only thing with the Bethesda stuff is that some of them just looked so bad, especially
Mhm.
Fallout. And maybe I thought that because I know that game a little better, but man, just the gameplay that they were showing just did not look very nice, especially for a game that's as old as it is. And I know the Switch 2 can look pretty decent, but man, they just, I don't know. Some of the other ones looked better, I think, and maybe because they're newer, but you would think an older game they could get looking better than the newer stuff. But I thought Indiana Jones looked way better than Fallout 4. But anyway, so
So they did announce the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remastered, which is, it just came out. I mean, was it last year?
yep.
And then Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I think that's called The Great Circle, right? And then Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, which it's the anniversary edition is like unimpressive. It was just released. They didn't throw the kitchen sink at it the way that people would really have liked. So a lot of people were calling this just kind of a repackage. So the luster on that was already low before it was announced to be coming to Switch 2. And that should be the big stuff, I mean, what you're talking about. I think you're right. There's a reason they started and kicked off with Orbitals. So
Mhm.
Orbitals is a retro anime style co-op adventure with intergalactic exploration. So keyword is the retro. Clay's right. It was like a 80s anime, like very interesting frame rate on the animation, very interesting art style. Like that what it reminds me of is, if you know of the Daft Punk um album that had the accompanying music videos, they went hard into this anime 80s style, and it was just like awesome. And that was like a sci-fi, like just little tidbits like music videos. And that's where I primarily recognize this from, and then some other, like, Akira and stuff like that. Like it's really cool, and I'm not sure the gameplay is going to be the best. As soon as they started showing gameplay, my hype level went down, but as a concept, and it looked good. Clay, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I'll let David speak here. I feel bad that he hasn't said anything, but I did just want to say I did love that Valheim is coming over.
Yeah.
I still love and cherish Valheim. In fact, just watching the trailer made me want to go play it. Still,
100%.
still haven't beat it, but I really like that game, and so I'm happy to see it on more consoles. I do think it's a tough game to play on console because there are just some. It's like made for PC. It feels like, and so I've
Mhm.
played it on my Steam Deck. It's doable. It's just a little difficult, and so I still enjoy playing on mouse and keyboard more. Um, One other game that I did that was a little bit of a standout. I don't even know how to say the name of it. Cold Sept Begins, which is like a card game, and but then there's also like moving pieces. I don't fully they don't hit on it very long, and then they jump over to Goat Simulator 3 or whatever. But
Oh, was it in like it was in a montage
it was
maybe?
in a montage when they were showing Tiger Woods golf, but it's called Cold Sep Begins, and it looks like it's card based. I don't know. I just the graphics and like the art style on it looked really cool, so I was like kind of impressed with that. But I need to see like a full trailer and see if it's even something I'd want to play. Couple other things, and then I'll let David go. I promise. Is Super Bomberman collection that
Yeah.
comes from the Super Nintendo. That's kind of cool. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of those games are super rare and really expensive on the Super Nintendo. I remember when I was younger, I was playing like an emulator of one of them. Can't remember which one. And I was like, dang, this is super fun. Like, I want to get a copy of this. And I looked it up. And even back in the day, like, it was super expensive. And so I'm sure like collectors and stuff are pretty stoked about that. I don't know if you guys are big Bomberman fans, but the Super Nintendo ones were actually pretty fun. I thought the Hollow Knight thing was kind of weird. Like, why? Why are we doing this? I mean, it's just a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, I guess. But like it just seemed a little tone deaf. And then the Resident Evil announcements were like somewhat impressive. I don't really play Resident Evil games. I've always wanted to play that Village game. I've never done it. But yeah, for me it was just okay. David, I'm so sorry.
It's all right. um, so score for me, I think I might rate it slightly higher for you because I'm only would rank this against other partner directs. I don't think it's
Mm,
fair to rank it against normal direct.
Interesting caveat there.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I'll give it like a B minus.
Wow, that's
Yeah, I'll
pretty
give it a little
high.
bit
Okay.
higher because it did show more than I thought they would. It
Hmm.
seemed to be a little bit more okay. Maybe more people have the dev kits now, and we're starting to get that stream of ports that we were maybe kind of expecting a little bit more last year. So that's nice to see. And I'll agree with you guys about Orbital. Um, I really like the art style and the vibe. I am also concerned about how fun it's actually going to be to play, but it is a visual treat, and I definitely would love to try that.
Mhm.
And it was, yeah, probably the most interesting thing, assuming you have a PS5 already or something similar. And that's the one thing I think, you were saying, Clay, the Bethesda stuff is really cool, and I'm glad it's coming over. But Oblivion Remastered doesn't really run that great on my PS5. I'm very skeptical how it's going to run on a Switch 2. And I know the Skyrim port also had a lot of issues for being that old of a game. So it almost seems like Bethesda's Switch 2 ports aren't is put together as some other developers do, like CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, or Ubisoft with Star Wars Outlaws. It kind of feels like, I don't know, like we're getting them, but they might be a little bit half baked visually and performance wise. So it's still exciting that they're coming. Other than that, like there's some good stuff, and a lot of stuff I feel like I've seen before. It's not like really brand new. I mean, yeah, like that Hollow Knight, like what are you even gonna add to a Switch 2 version? Like it's 2D game. I guess it's cool that it's got a native client now and it's free. But there's been way worse kind of partner directs than this, so I'm not
I agree.
too
Yeah.
upset.
Wasn't the last one really lame?
Yeah,
Vaguely
there
sounds
was a
familiar.
bad one recently. Yeah.
I vaguely remember that.
I still like the stuff that I really want to see come over. On like Microsoft side, still hasn't came over yet. I would like to see some of Rare's old stuff ported over. That would be nice. Even just 360 games in general. See the Halo games come over. Stuff that I think would actually like run really well on the Switch. Some older stuff from that era. But Bethesda's nice. It's just those games barely run on the most powerful consoles around because they're Bethesda games. So I'm less excited for them. But
So, big picture, because your score is higher than ours, do you think you're giving up? So, one thing you're grading on a curve is like other partner directs were kind of weak,
yeah,
but like, do you also subtract points because we've seen these before on other consoles? Like, some of these games are like awesome, but this is not the ideal
yeah,
place to play it. So, therefore, you get kind of like points deducted. Do you feel the same way?
maybe a little bit. Probably not that much because I feel like that's not entirely fair. Like, there's people who could have only a Switch.
True.
Yeah.
And I feel
True.
like that's getting more prevalent as time. It used to be less of a thing, but I know people who only have a Switch. I know multiple
Yeah.
people who only have a Switch.
In this economy, we're lucky we get
Yeah,
a Switch.
and that's
Mhm.
it is strangely. I mean, the sales of the original Switch are absolutely ridiculous, but it is certainly coming. Like there's a reality where Switch becomes like the default console for most people.
Yeah.
Especially if like consoles are going to start costing $700. Like, so I don't think it's entirely fair to say that you need to spend all this money to have a game slightly better. It's really cool that these games are coming if you have no other way to play them. I just know that my hype was a little deflated just by knowing that they're probably not going to be that great. And I'm okay with some drawbacks. I've been buying games on Switch 2 that are available elsewhere, but usually with the caveat that I know that the drawbacks aren't going to be as big as you're probably going to see in a Bethesda open world RPG that already has serious frame drops on my PS5.
Yeah. Big picture, I wanted to present that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming
Mhm.
June 3rd. For anybody under a rock, this is again the reimagining of Final Fantasy VII, the second game in the planned trilogy. It's coming to Switch too. So it's known for being a looker. It's a beautiful game, but I played Final Fantasy VII remake on the handheld on Steam Deck and on PC, and it's a night and day difference when you have to get into this resolution scaling thing or whatever, all the compromises. So the big picture, the big question to you is the Switch 2 gets a lot of the Switch 2 and Switch in general because it's hybrid gets a lot of value based on can this machine give you a game and an experience that's compromised but still good enough? Are you going to be buying third party on this console, or are you just going to default to like another system if you have that option? So to me, my question is, from what we've seen so far, and these are heavy hitters now. I mean, like you said, some things come out optimized, like Star Wars Outlaws, and it's like, wow, this looks better than people expect. Are we are our standards too high? Do we think that like we're never gonna reach like parity, so you just have to accept with compromises? Like, was the Switch 2, and did it end up being more powerful than you thought it was going to be so far, or do you think that it's not as good as you'd like? What do you think, Clay?
I don't have a lot of opinions on it. Yeah, it's probably not fully where I'd like it to be.
I'm
Um,
kind of in that boat. Like, I feel like from what I've experienced, I'd like it to be just like 20%, better almost,
yeah,
to
I'd agree.
feel like really secure with like, hey, you know what? For instance, for Rebirth, maybe it's like, you know what? I am gonna play it on there instead of PC. Like, what could draw me to that experience? uh, I don't know. Can you imagine though if these come out and even though they look bad in the direct, or they didn't look as good in the direct, in live, it's like, actually this is pretty surprising, and they have patches coming out and things are fine after a while, and it's just like, I don't know. Right now, quite honestly, my take is like, I feel kind of on the fence. I don't trust my Switch to power enough. What do you think, David?
I mean, it's going to be game by game for me. I think for quite a lot of stuff, I think it's honestly enough for me. Maybe I'm just getting less picky as I go on, but um, I also know there's just going to be games you're going to want to get on PS5. But um,
Or Xbox.
yeah, I mean, I know. Who even knows if there's going to be another Xbox? That's people
Right.
want. Well, the way things are
The
going.
death rattle.
Yeah, I know. I honestly keep forgetting Xbox is still a thing. I'm sorry, guys. I know you're Xbox.
Rude. No, Tony doesn't remember either. He sold his, so
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So,
Just me.
but yeah, I guess my point is it's going to vary by game. Like I bought Yukari Playly, and I bought Sonic and Shadow Generations, both on Switch 2, and I have no qualms about either of those games. I think they look fantastic, play fantastic. I'm sure the versions are like a little bit better, but like not enough to really distract. Um, but as I said before, looking at some of what we might be seeing from Bethesda, I feel like those games are probably going to be sticking with a more powerful console. But there's a lot of times when I'm not going to make that choice because I really enjoy the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And if the game is good enough, um, I'm more likely to make the choice to get it for Switch 2. And I think anything that's probably old or retro, like if I'm getting a bunch of collection of remastered games, like why I feel like that fits right at home at Switch, and I honestly end up playing a lot of that stuff nowadays. So um, I don't know, and I don't. I think making it any more powerful than it was with the rising price of technology probably would have been a bad idea from a business standpoint, and then we're just going to be left with no affordable way for the masses to play video games.
Yeah. One day we
Yeah.
won't have it anymore. Go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, so I already kind of covered this when we first talked about the Switch 2, but the market has changed since the original Switch. And
Mm.
so when the original Switch came out, I remember the 2016 Doom game came out on the Switch, or Skyrim came out on the Switch. And me, as well as pretty much everybody else, freaked out and said, "Wait, you're telling me that I can play Doom or Skyrim
Yep.
at work, on the go, on a subway, on the toilet? I'm in. I'm buying it."
Yep.
And they went and bought it, right? And it was like, even if it wasn't the full one-to-one experience, the fact that you could take it on the go, it didn't matter. You're like, you know what? I will sacrifice frame rate or higher like graphic quality if it means that I can take it on the go. But I'm not saying that now there's a better, I'm not saying that like the Steam Deck is necessarily better than the Switch 2, but there's other ways to get out and play things portably. And even me and David have started kind of dabbling in some Android devices that can play like Switch One games. Not saying we're doing that, but you could. And so it's like there's a lot of other options of how to play these games on the go. And so it's becoming less of an incentive to like at least for me, I don't want to speak for everybody, but at least for me, there's it's got to be a little bit better now. It can't just be like okay, but it's portable. It's got to be like okay, well it's pretty darn good and it's portable. Like that's not necessarily the one thing that sells me on something now is whether or not I need to be able to have it on the go. And I realize that's not everybody's situation, but that's kind of where I'm at with it, where the portableness of it isn't necessarily the like the selling factor for me anymore. I don't know.
Interesting. I spent a lot of time in Skyrim on the Switch One. I remember seeing it, thinking it looked better than I thought it was going to look. So I'm totally with you on that. It's such an interesting conversation. I think, like, to sum it up, is it's decision time, everybody. If you're a Switch person and now you have to decide, are you going to be double dipping? Are you going to want the mobile experience, the hybrid? I can play, doctor handheld, a little bit before bed with some of these games. Like you said, David, it is game to game, because like when you had mentioned Yukari Play, it's like, yes, it is a Switch type game. That is like something you would gravitate toward for the Switch. And it's like, now I have to say, had my eye on Pragmata because it was a very visually interesting game. I thought it could like challenge my PC a little bit. And then Resident Evil Requiem is like looking great. I love Resident Evil 4. It seems to be like tapping into that with Leon, and with that type of gameplay, and that's my favorite type of Resident Evil. So it's like, should I do it on Switch? Like now I'm in decision mode. So for everybody out there, leave a comment. Like, are you on board with third party and getting Switch like games now that are in place of where you would play primary, or switch your primary? Let us know. Um, One thing I wanted to wrap up for is like a little bit of an audible. What would have made this an A for me is if they had announced the Fallout New Vegas remaster and Nintendo got the announcement, but it was coming to everything.
Yes.
For me, it would have been a Switch game. I would have said, yes, I want to play this in bed or wherever. I don't care if it would like look compromised. It would already be fresh in some respects. So that's what I thought we were going to see. I watched the direct, like I was a little bit behind, so I was getting spoiled already, but that's what I thought was going to happen. I was like, wow, Nintendo got the announcement. But no, they had all their plans, other Bethesda games to show us. David, any final thoughts? Anything that would have made it even better for you? Or
No, it was. I mean, yeah, I think kind of how I was saying before. There's still a bunch of stuff, particularly on the Microsoft side, that I would like to come back to Nintendo. As a Rare fan, I want to see some of that stuff. Even Sea of Thieves, which is their new thing,
Yep.
to me that seems like an
Sea
absolute
of Thieves is
no-brainer.
still going. I just saw a video
Yeah,
and it was looking pretty good.
Yeah, why not bring that over? Especially
Grounded
since,
2 was
yeah.
another video I saw recently of a
Yeah.
game I forgot about that Microsoft could,
It's fun.
that's a
I've played it.
perfect
And
one.
It's a great
I
Is
game.
think that
Grounded
stuff is
on
coming.
Switch?
I don't know. I could be.
Oh
wrong.
my
I think
god,
it
if it's
is.
not, that's kind of a like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I think that stuff is coming. I think we're just in the from. I remember reading that potentially like there was a dev kit situation at first, and now that's potentially resolved. So I think we might just be in like this kind of period of everyone's
we're
starting
just
to catch
starting.
up. Everyone
Mm.
wants their stuff on Switch. It's just going to take a little bit to get the ball rolling for everybody. So
Thumbs up or thumbs down, Clay, on Turok, what do they call it? Turok Origins.
Right. I mean, I love Turok games, like
This
especially on
looked
the
weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it kind of feels like a Monster Hunter, and I don't know.
Were we expecting this? Am I crazy? But I was like, what is this?
I feel
I
like at one
I
point
had,
there was like a rumor about another Turok coming out, but I can't remember.
you like Turok, David? You want Turok
Um,
Origins?
oh, we'll see. I'm not a big Turok fan. I mean, I have some nostalgia for maybe the first one, but like I never played much
Yeah.
of it.
Right.
I like
like-
the concept.
Betraying the first person out is kind of weird. Like when you build it on a thing I get like changing it up every now and then, but I don't know. It's just a little weird.
The last thing is the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. Everyone who's played the demo, I've had it downloaded forever and have not played it, says that the gameplay is very good. This is coming June 18th. It's a story-driven indie adventure with choice and exploration at its core. It's got a very interesting camera angle and art style, and again, the gameplay is supposed to be really good. That's gonna be a hit. That everybody I just has already said it. It's gonna be a hit. So I should get on playing that demo already, and we'll see that one, come the summer. So that's good. Overall, decent partner showcase.
Can I share what I think would have made
Please,
it an A plus?
please.
So Sea of Thieves was at the top of my list. David stole that one from
Whoa.
me. It was a good choice.
Sea of Thieves.
My next one would be Peak, the cliff climbing game Peak.
Yeah.
I think that would. I don't know. Like, it's not that like visually heavy of a game. Maybe it is like the longer render distances, but it'd be a really fun game. I hope it comes to consoles eventually because I got more friends I want to play it with, and it's just
Mhm.
only being on PC kind of is a bummer. Team Fortress 2. They should put that on Switch 2 for free to
Team
play.
Fortress 2?
Yeah, put it free to play.
That's an
and-
old one.
That is
an oldie.
what
but
year was that?
people still play that game?
92?
No,
No.
it's not that old. But and then my last one is put the Witcher trilogy on the Switch too. Put all 3 games on there.
Yep,
Do a little
2007.
The first one's never been ported to consoles, so that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and like I'm sure they would put it out on all the
I was
consoles.
Yeah.
way off.
Bring
I
it
feel
Switch
like I
2.
remember hearing rumors a while back. This is a tangent about potentially them doing like a modern remake of the first one.
Yep.
So it could
Yep,
be
I've heard that too. I
cool.
think that's coming after the fourth one. Maybe they said, or that's what I read, but who knows? So those are my picks. Those things would get me super jacked up, just to be able to bring those games to the player base. And I'm trying to think of games that have like that are online. So Sea of Thieves, Peak, Team Fortress 2, like you can play those online with people. Witcher's a little more of a single player thing, but there's a lot of good things you could do to get some people playing those games who have maybe never played them before.
I'd immediately double dip for Arc Raiders because I'm kind of addicted to it right now. It's
Mhm.
crossplay. Oh, I don't know. Where's Xenoblade, David?
Soon.
Soon.
Soon, he says.
No, yeah,
tell me to
I'm not
wait?
sure. I just read something that like potentially Xenoblade showed up on like some random person's LinkedIn.
You know what I
Like,
think?
unannounced Xenoblade.
I think that they think that Xenoblade could be like a big deal for them, but it's not going to be a big deal to me unless it's a new game at this point. Like, yeah, I mean, they're going to do a Switch 2 version of 3 basically, and they're going to want us to be happy about it, and I'm going to be like,
I don't know, man. It's been a minute since the third one.
it ran terribly. It would look
Yeah.
so muddy, even docked. Anyway. Oh, thank you everybody for joining us for another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2, where we talk about Switch and we debate about it and we try to figure out if our purchase was worth the money. And I think it has been. I really do. And we are starting to see more third party, and bright shining clouds are parting and the sun is shining through on the system. Right? Something. I don't know. Some type
Yeah.
of allegory. Thank you everybody, and we will see you next time.